Adam, let's start with some basics.
Sure.
I mean, are regular people getting children from overseas at the same rate that celebrities seem to be doing it? Is it that easy?
It's never easy. It's complicated. But I think celebrities, the only difference between regular people and celebrities is the cameras follow celebrities around. Regular people adopt, celebrities adopt. It happens in large numbers, and the only difference is those cameras.
Let me bring Kristen and Mark here, because you two had two biological daughters when you decided to adopt, and you first adopted domestically.
Yes, and actually we adopted first. Our first child was adopted. Yeah. So we decided to adopt. We kept hearing stories about how many children were waiting in the foster care system, and we just felt like our hearts were, you know, that we wanted to give one of those children a home, a waiting child a home. And in the United States, that generally means, as he was saying, a child who's a bit older, not an infant. And in our country, we also have a lot of minority children who are not being adopted from the foster care system. And we really felt called to do that, you know, that didn't sit well with us, that this is going on in our country, and that our country is actually sending minority children to Canada to be adopted. So our heart was there. We started with domestic. We adopted from the foster care system. Then we had a biological daughter.
How old was your child, may I ask,
when you adopted him? He actually came home at 6 months old.
Really?
Yeah, so
wow,
he was
that's
young,
very young.
Even though we were open to older children, but that's the baby we were matched with, and he was supposed to be, you know,
you're glowing when you talk about him.
Yeah, so he's our big boy, our oldest. He's 5 now. Then we had a daughter who's now 3. Right after we had our daughter, we felt strongly that we wanted to add another child to our home.
Oh,
yeah.
Why did you go internationally the second time?
Well, we had a tough time adopting from the foster care system. It took 3 years to finalize his adoption.
Wow.
And it was a really heart-wrenching experience because we were unsure for a lot of that time. Adopting from foster care, you know, there's always an opportunity, as there should be, for the birth parent to come in and decide to parent. So it was pretty iffy for a while. And we didn't feel like, even though I would not change that for the world, and even though I always encourage people to think about adopting from foster care, we didn't feel like we could do it again.
Yes.
But at the same time, we really wanted a child that would reflect, you know, our son is African American, and we didn't want him to be the only brown face in our family. So we chose Haiti because, you know, for a number of reasons, but because we had been drawn to that country. I'd visited there as a child, and we knew we could adopt and be visiting during the process.
Now, what is the cost for adopting internationally, as opposed to, you know, adopting through the foster care system here?
And what I would encourage people to think through when they think adoption is too expensive, if you adopt a child through foster care, it's free.
Okay.
The government pays for all of the, you know, so that is a good way if people are saying, I can't afford adoption, but this is pulling on my heart. That's a good place to start.
And in fact, sometimes there are subsidies. So, and the direct answer to your question internationally, anywhere from $20,000 to $40,000, $50,000. So it can get, for travel costs, for orphanage costs, for social workers, for the medical stuff, it's too high, to be sure. But it is real, and it locks a lot of people out.
May I ask, 3 years is such a long time I mean, you've already fallen in love with him. Where does he stay in those 3 years when he could be living with you? Is he living with you?
He was with us. We were foster parents.
Great,
yeah.
great.
Yeah, but then when we adopted from Haiti, you know, we thought we didn't want to go through this heart-wrenching situation again, and it actually took 3 years to get him home as well. So
can I remind people that having children biologically doesn't always take just 9 months? People go through years and years.
As far as I'm concerned, it doesn't, because mine was 2 weeks late, and it was the longest 2 weeks of my life.
Right.
No, but I did in vitro. I did in vitro. It took years. But I do want to, you have 2 African-American children. They were both boys. How is that raising 2 little black children and you're white?
You know, it is a challenge. It's something that you have to be really intentional about. I think when you adopt transracially, you become a transracial family. You don't get to just, you know, stay in your little safe community, and by safe I mean comfortable. You know, you have to go out and be intentional. It's very important for us that our kids feel a part of the black community. So, you know, anywhere from attending church, schools we choose, making sure that they're in the community.
I'm going to stop it right there because we're going to continue the discussion in just a moment. But Kristen, Mark, thanks so very much. Adam, you stay right here. We're going to come back and we're going to talk with a single parent and a gay couple who wanted to adopt. More on this right after this.